Pero también he visto de que usted ha tenido muchos estudiantes que son inmigrantes que han acabado de llegar de otro país y están luchando. Y básicamente el mundo de la lucha de wrestling es totalmente diferente al mundo del soccer, en el cual puedes hablar con español con cualquier persona, porque en Latinoamérica todos juegan soccer. Y
Yes.
en las luchas no es muy difícil encontrar un latinoamericano que haya venido y esté luchando, a menos que sea cubano o sea de venezolano o de otro país que esté luchando. Entonces, eso es una experiencia nueva para el centroamericano que viene y empieza a luchar.
Yeah. Good question. Yes, that Fremont has become, it became it became a team with a lot of people from all Central America, and Mexico, and it just happened. I had a lot of students because I'm always recruiting. I'm always recruiting. I'm walking around. I'm like, would you like to wrestle? Just tell my team, passing out a flyer. I'm always recruiting. I'm always trying to have activities where students are involved, and it happened with a lot of students that didn't make the soccer team. Fremont has an amazing soccer program, and boys and girls say. So a lot of them that didn't make the team, sometimes they were trying to find something different, and that's where I started bumping into a lot of students that would tell me like, "Oh, Mister, hablo inglés," and I'll be like, "Oh, okay." So I'll just code switch and I'll start talking in Spanish, and I'll invite them like, "Hey, have you ever tried wrestling?" And in their heads in the beginning, I can see their eyes be like, "What kind of wrestling? Like, are you talking about like, you know, the Mexican wrestling, the WWE wrestling?" And then what I'll do is I'll introduce them to I'll walk them. I'll be like, "This is a wrestling mat." I'll show them a video of on the phone. Be like, "This is what the wrestling I'm talking about." Y little by little, what the good thing about what happened is what happens. It happens where Fremont ended up getting a lot of students that were from Central America, that were newcomers. That's the word they're being used right now. It's newcomer students that just get here from other countries. And the way I would sell wrestling was like, you're going to learn Spanish. Yeah, you're going to learn English that much faster because you're going to be exposed to it. And I would tell them, like, ¿quieres aprender inglés lo más pronto posible? Vente al equipo de lucha donde todos hablan inglés y lo vas a aprender más rápido. Vas a tener que practicar, vas a tener que hacerlo. And they kind of like, all right, let me try it out. So, and it was interesting because they challenged my Spanish with the wrestling vocabulary, because a lot of the stuff was like, how do you translate this English word into Spanish? And at the end, I kind of convinced me. I kind of told myself like, I don't have to. Let's learn it. Let's learn a double leg is a double leg. You're not gonna say dos piernas. I don't know. Like, I wouldn't even know how to translate that. So I would definitely. I was like, no, I'm gonna teach them. This is the double leg. This is a headlock. And and that's how I think a student started coming in, and what happens is one or two that like it, they start bringing all their friends, and they're a lot of students that come from other countries. They'll hang out together. They're in the same classes. They're cohort together, so they're in the same class. They're like, hey, I'm doing this wrestling, and they'll be like, oh, I want to try it too. So they'll start bringing their friends, and for a few years, Fremont was just a team with a lot of newcomers. And I'm coaching in Spanish. I'm yelling in Spanish, and I'm like, man, this is cool. I love it. And you notice a difference, because they come from a lot of the students that come from other countries. They come from hardship, and what happens is you find a community. You find a wrestling community that's accepting, that's you make friends with, and you have wrestlers that speak English that would help you, and it's a very friendly environment. And what happens is, and you create that as a coach. I have to create that. I have to make sure that everything and everyone's getting respected in the wrestling room. One of my culture shocks at Fremont was how many bad words every kid says, and I'm like, man, not around me. So the wrestling room, but as soon as kids start saying bad words, it's like, no, you don't cuss in this room. And I created that environment for everyone to understand that, because I want it to be a family environment. And when you compete at wrestling tournaments and all that stuff, when you go to wrestling tournaments, you go to competitions, you you always represent Fremont, and you represent the coaches, and so on.